And just in celebration of Ding winning the championship and my halfway right prediction, I made 2 predictions. One is that Ding would choke during the World Championship, which was correct. Game 7, Game 8, and other points. So that was right on the nose, like a month before the championship. But then the other thing that I said was very wrong was that he would lose because of it. So forgive me that I thought one of the best players in the world playing another one of the best players in the world, and honestly 2 of the best players of all time, because there's only been like 2800s ever. Forgive me for thinking that somebody choking, which was a correct prediction, would not lead to them losing in a high-stakes tournament like that. Wouldn't you think if somebody chokes like that badly, if you're playing against Magnus, you couldn't get away with that? So, for example, he chokes away Game 7 on the clock when he's winning, or at the very worst, it should have been a draw, but then Jan wants to out-choke him. So, basically, as I'm playing this classical game, I'm going to go over. We'll do like a little, the great roast of Ding Liren, and it's sort of, you know, jokingly, lovingly, but these are a bunch of comments back and forth that me and my friend were having a lot of fun at their expense about the World Chess Championship. So I have some of the best ones that I kind of want to go over. And he loves to like do them in YouTube comments. We kind of just said them to each other, or I said a lot of them on stream, just sort of funny little jokes about them choking. And so, yeah, he likes to post a lot of these. So here we go. Doesn't mean it's gonna hurt my chess play though, clearly. We get to play as white. We're playing at 1676, but he is provisional. It's like every move I should do one. So our normal opening is this. Let's not get too cocky though. Because one of his templates for the comment structure is that he'll put like Ding chilling as the, like he'll put in quotation what he said, and then he'll put Ding chilling, and it's obviously just hypothetical and made up. That and Magnum Carlos are the 2 great jokes for it. It's like Seinfeld comedy routine making fun of the choke artist in Ding Liren. Let's see, like, these were reactions to some questions. The one about the book, right? Or will you write a book when this World Championship is over? And this is obviously when it was still ongoing. And then, so Ding Liren's title would be How I Choked Away the Only World Championship I Played In. Of course, assuming the prediction was right, which it wasn't. I actually don't know what to do here. He's playing kind of a little weird. You want to bring the bishop out. I guess that's still fine. Yeah, I always used to get baited into that e5 position. Let's go here. And then, oh yeah, here's another one. Like, they're asking Jan and Ding, like, what time format would you like for the tiebreaker? And it's like, they both say together in sync, the longest one, so we have more time to recover from choking, because they mistook the title. WCC doesn't stand for World Chess Championship. It stands for World Choking Championship. Because, I mean, they both did it so much that you almost... Delicious C pieces. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this set, but... That's the whole beauty of chess. Once you know what they are, you're doing it in your head. You're too good to even look at the pieces. Like all the great GMs. So you could pin this down and double attack it. Only problem with that is he'll come here. In doing that. Yeah, they want the longest time format for the tiebreaker so that they can. This probably would be fine. So that they have more time to recover from choking. Then this is a comment by Ding somewhere in the middle. Where one of the like games, I can't remember. It must have been the one actually that Jan choked away, like game 12. So Ding says, I was completely lost. So the hypothetical quote he could say is, I thought to turn the tables because whenever I have a big lead, I choke it away. So why not him? Okay, he could take this, but I would still take it back. This should be fine. And then when you out-choke the choker, you become legendary. Ding chilling, that's another one. The Nepo clothing thing. Well, first of all, after game 12, he should have, or even after losing, he should have said, I should have worn my pink shirt, because that would have been the answer to everything, because of all the media stupid fixation on some of those questions were so dumb. Like, why did he change his shirt from the pink shirt? Because it's easier to breathe than this one, implying he choked in game 12. Or the goal is to wear, if he answered the question, like, why did you change? The goal is to wear the most airy thing as possible so you don't choke. They put the horse here, and people got so mad about some of these too, but it's all good fun. It's just like all jokes. but it would have bared out to be true. So it kind of sets a bad standard. Like, do you think either of them could have gotten away with playing like that if they were playing against Magnus? I went from at the beginning thinking like, oh, people shouldn't diminish this one just because Magnus isn't playing, to yeah, they kind of should, because they both played like clowns in the context of, you know, they have big leads and they choke them away. So it's kind of paying respect to how good they are. If you're a 2800 player and you have a lead, you shouldn't lose it. I don't know what to do with the Dark Square Bishop. You should be trying to go here. But people always do these ad hominem stupid things like, oh, well, you're not as good as them, so you can't say it. But that has nothing to do with it. Like, you know, you don't need to be a chef to be able to judge food, or you don't need to be a basketball player to say LeBron choked in 2011 or whatever the case may be. You come... I don't know what like the highest priority move is here. There's a lot of things you could do, but I guess you should try to develop. I always hate this because it's such a slow sequence. I guess you could do it like this. I don't think I ever do that normally. Normally I go like this and this, but what if I just leave it? That could work because I already gave up the Light Square Bishop. Let's try it. There's no meaningful pin he can do. The worst he could do is maybe open the king like that. What else? This was like before one of the last matches when Ding actually played well, or when they both played well. It was just as there's a calm before the storm, so too is there a deep breath before the biggest choke, anticipating what was going to happen. Chess is beautiful but equally brutal is one of the titles that some chess video had. So choking is ugly but equally wait, what is it? Choking is ugly and equally brutal. That would be, you could placeholder Ding said it or Jan said it. Choking doesn't mean anything unless the stakes are as high as possible. So when he didn't choke and played well in one of the games, that must be why. He's just setting it up so the choke means something more meaningful. Brings that there. I could do that. There's really no reason to though. This is always good. This just doesn't look like a good pawn structure, but it would have given me good incentive to keep the Light Square Bishop around, maybe. You want to put the horse here eventually, but let's just go single-minded into purely trying to develop. Let's see, what else do we have? These are all Ding chilling quotes. If you're a choker, raise your hand. The day that Ding's hair was all weird and it's like his hand is his hair sticking up is like the hand poking out. Some of these will make less sense out of context of the videos that they're a part of, but come here, take. Nothing really too crazy you can do with the horse, the seahorse. That's the only one that really makes a great amount of sense. These are okay. I don't really see why the pufferfish has to be a rook. What else do we have? You could go like this, but see that's creating a problem. You almost want to go like, you want to have only one anchor pawn. So now you have, how fitting too to call it that, anchor. Like you want to go here and maybe here in my genius level deduction, so that this is the anchor pawn and then it becomes worth it to do that. Perhaps. Now, if you just think ahead, you're kind of playing your own game. You don't even have to worry about what he's doing. I guess I should clear this up though first. He's not putting a whole lot of pressure, right? Like his development is kind of bad, or at least slower than mine. Thanks to this match, the World Championship medical professionals now know that choking is a contagious condition. Because at the beginning, we all thought that Ding was the choker, but then Jan started to do it too. And the original prediction wasn't even like vouching for Jan. It was more just like, okay, he just plays, he's a good player, whatever. They're both great players. But Ding had a long history of it that maybe people wanted to fight me on. And that's the funny thing. Even though he won, it still doesn't change that because of Game 7 and 8 especially. After witnessing Ding perform in this championship, Jan thought that WCC stood for World Choking Championship instead of World Chess Championship, and so he adjusted his style of play to match. Some of these are mine and some of these are my friends. Search, what is this? Oh, like when he was being searched, they must have been searching him for an oxygen tank. This is great. Like, how many jokes can you make on the same subject? You bring the rook out. What else do we have here? You kind of, this makes a lot of sense because then this will be the anchor, so it doesn't matter what happens to anything else. And you're not blocking your own light squares in the context of, you know, you don't have a light square bishop, so you're not even worried about it. I always get like these perfect pawn structures that look so good, but then I kind of get complacent and don't do anything with them. Right? You have to know when to use them or when to finally push them. Like getting locked pawns against a 2000 player, but then I fucked something up. It was a draw 100%. I just like let my king get pinned behind one of them for no reason. But he's got what seems like a bishop pair, and given my pawn structure, I can't really stop them. So maybe that's the mistake of this. You could do this. No, he's got too many attackers on it. Let's see. Let's see. Could come here and try to attack it, but he can easily escape. So this is dangerous, as people always sort of pontificate that, oh, a bishop pair is equal to like 8 points instead of 6. I guess that's the one failure of this pawn structure, is just you didn't block off the bishop sufficiently. So let's see his masterclass usage of it, because I always get a bishop pair and then I kind of gave up on them because I could never use them right, or I wouldn't get what I really want. This is at least good because you forked them. I don't see what the threat really is. He could take, I could take, everything looks fine. So this seems like a generally safe move, except you don't necessarily want him to take without this cover, maybe. That should be fine. Let's see, what other ones? Oh yeah, the whole Rapport saga, because Rapport and Ding were such good friends, and they always, you know, the media was making a big thing about it. They appeared to be kissing, but Rapport cleared it up. He was just giving him CPR after one game, let's say, that he choked. Or like when his prep got leaked, his actual preparation wasn't what they were talking about, like from Lichess. Ironically, we're playing on Lichess too. It was actually a note from Rapport that said, don't choke, don't choke, don't choke, like 50 times going down. 22 minutes left, okay. Let's see, let's see. You should be able to do this now, because even if you take, I take, I'm fine with that trade. If you don't, you have to address both the queen threat and that. What a weird spot to just put his queen. I can't really think what he's trying to do with that. This should be great though. See, I consider it a fork, even though it's not, because you're not winning anything. It's just, that's how bad the horse is that I just want to get rid of it. Our attempt to, this is like Ding whispering, or Rapport whispering to Ding after the match. Our attempt to weaponize choking as a contingent worked, because then Jan started to choke. Let's see what else. It's not the choking world chess world championship, it's the choking world championship. Okay, I already did that one. Or after he wins, I can finally breathe easily, he says up on stage. Ding shocked the world, one of the YouTube titles or something, right, by winning. But everybody's response, like they have all these Twitter responses, so it's like everybody just says, he didn't choke, he didn't choke. Wow. Chalked emoji. I want to thank Magnus for giving me this award, which a lot of people were trying to diminish the quality of the match, which I guess is fair enough. He wants to play poker with Alex Botez instead. She totally didn't ruin chess. It just sets such an interesting standard that you're able to, you know, make more money doing that. Not saying anybody can just do that, of course, but, you know, you can just tell. Maybe Levy would have worked to be a GM if not for that. Maybe Anna Kramling would have been, because she's only 20 years old. Or maybe Hikaru would have been the world champion this time around if it wasn't for, you know, him starting his channel. Because he was so close. All he had to do was beat Ding and he's there. And then it's at least theoretically possible that he could beat Jan. Right, whereas he was never going to beat... Magnus, obviously. You could do this and you're already pinning down, so that's beautiful. Maybe I play better when I go on all these kind of tangents. My first scripted stream, because I don't do writing streams anymore. Let's do a stand-up comedy routine stream. Just like the way the YouTube comments work is so stupid. I never do them, but I know a couple of people who do them a lot, and they'll just make like the same jokes over and over on every video. I don't see what could be wrong with this. Actually, this music is kind of fitting because this is like for a water level too. Just by chance. You can't take. I pin it down. I take the rook. You're not really threatening anything in a meaningful way. The horse is pretty useless here. If you take, I take. This guy is provisional, so you never know how good or bad these people might be. And, okay, we take the rook. That's easy enough. I don't see what the threat does here. So isn't this, like, at least logically consistent, right? You have 4 pawns covered by one thing, and then you have 3 pawns here covered by, basically, anchored by the king. Literally anchored. I use that term, though, anyway, not like an intentional pun. Now, you're also able to take this, which I didn't even see. So I assume that couldn't be a bad thing. Magnum Carlos says, when both sides choke, an even matchup is possible. I want to thank Magnus for giving me this award, Ding Chilling. The choke is the only human. To choke this much is a medical emergency. Magnum Carlos on the match. And the reason why, of course, you say that is because you don't want to be misquoting, like people would take it seriously. Oh, when did he actually say that? Because people are such sticklers and can't take a joke. Now, if you could attack this some way afterwards, that would be great too, because it's pinned down to him. There's no major threat that you can see. This makes me seem better than I am, like I'm just kind of dicking around the whole time, but... Choking will give and choking will take back. The ghost of Magnum Carlos when Nepo was like talking to himself in game 12. Like after he choked, he was like in disbelief. That was the title of the video, like Nepo talking to ghosts. I'm just going off their lovely journalism and reporting. Take, attack here, doesn't really matter. In fact, I guess that would only help me in a way, but see, now you shouldn't get too greedy. You should already win this game just on the strength of what you have available to you. Just like, you know, you're already +3. As long as I don't do something colossally stupid, this would be fine. This is fine, already primed for double stack. My thought was I could go above and beyond, and it's like, if I cover this, then the knight could come there, and then you're double attacking this, which is also pinned. But he'll do something sneaky. He'll take... And maybe not. If you calculate it far enough... Oh, here we go. This is where I messed up, because I tried to do too much. You should be satisfied. It's just that pin is so inviting. So if you come here, he would just take, and I would just take. Or he's already double attacking, so just forget it. Let him take. It's all good. This is a little bit scary, but... Actually, it could be very scary. He could come here, he could come there. He's attacking the thing, so I can't raise the queen. That's rule number 1 of this position. And then... How would I really cover that? Because I can't come to the spot that would be most intuitive, which is like this. Maybe I should just back this up and just relax. This doesn't even need a cover right now, but it would be the anchor. Yeah, there's no need to force it. Like, let's just go back. And then just the worst case is if he comes like there, I could either raise the pawn, which is a pretty bad play. Normally, you don't seem to want this pawn structure from my experience, but you could come here. So it's going to be a little bit awkward. I guess you could do this, but here's where I get potentially too passive sometimes. Or you could do it like this and just sit there. How's he really going to push it out? Assuming you want it to be there in the first place, which is questionable. This could be a very bad move. But it allows you to cover that so easily. So nothing can be taken. Everything is fine. Now that Ding Liren's the world championship, his world life goal is to normalize choking is finally achieved. People will aspire to that now. He could get away with it so beautifully. You can come here. It sets up maybe a queen threat, but I just don't buy that that's going to happen. Yeah, it is hard to push this out. Like, what's he going to do? Push the pawn all the way? Although a general logical razor for me is always like bringing the rook above the pawns like this is usually a bad idea, but it's fine, I guess. Take, 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 take. And then the finale is like, play it till you win for the tiebreaker. Actually, play it until you choke. Or play it until your opponent chokes. So the temptation is to do something with this, but you can't do it. Actually, you technically could, but not. Then he'll give a check. It's a good bait play, but now I'm getting too ambitious. Like, oh no, I blundered my rook. I basically just want to move this rook, period. Like, let's not even worry about it. Because then it's not only serving a purpose by covering this, but it's also, he's not using his rook at all. It also serves a purpose by doing that, and now it's no longer under threat, so it frees the queen up. If you want to trade queens, I'm fine with that too. There is no luck in chess, just choking and choking harder. Magnum Carlos again. You're welcome, of course, from Magnus. Just the fact that he didn't play is the only reason why any of this was possible. You could come there in sort of a ballsy play, but there's nothing you can do as a follow-up, so I don't see the point. Here's where a pawn push would be somehow justified, but I'm too much of a wussy to ever do it. You could, like, do this, but then what does it do? It doesn't really accomplish anything. It forces the queen to come out. It allows my queen to come out, I guess. Like, these are the positions I sometimes struggle with, which are I'm always in. It's like I'm up material, but I can't really do anything with it. Or it's more like I'm just scared to do anything with it. So I'm trying to compel the queen trade. I'd be more than happy if he does it. This is like the Emperor from Star Wars quote. To cheat choking as a power only one has discovered, but if we work together, I know we can discover the secret. Report to Ding Choing before the match. Yeah, that's interesting. I could just come back. It's not that big of a deal. Or you could even, like, threaten the pawn. But you could give a check. But then it might be hard to cover both of these. In fact, it might be impossible, or you'd be forcing yourself into some weird spots that maybe you don't need to do. And it's not like the check serves a lot of purpose. What does it do? He's forced to come to a dark square, which I can't do anything about. I think you come here, you attack the pawn, not that you're going to take it. He'll push it out, like, with the pawn. Something's going to go wrong here. You already know it. He wouldn't even be able to take, but, you know, my willingness to play with stuff like that is just, like, leave it pinned for 9 turns and then something good will happen. Some classic GM game from whatever time period. It's a very risky situation. Something's going to go wrong. Thankfully, he hasn't activated his rook, though, at all yet. Or Jan after game 12. Ding is who I thought he was, and I let him off the hook. The old, some football coach said that. Yeah, after the championship, Jan announced his retirement from chess, citing health issues, specifically concerning his lungs. As a report would say, to choke is only human. He gets kind of his revenge. It's like creating a whole storyline for it. Because that was something that report said back, hypothetically. This is like a little role play to Ding when he was choking. To choke is only human, to give him like a little bit of a support. But is there anything I get from doing this? In fact, it's horrible because then you won't be able to come back to... You won't be able to come back to cover this, and then you lose the anchor pawn as a result. But technically you can't take. So what if I just push the point now? You go ballsy and say, I would take. Oh, but you know what would open up later is the fact that the queen actually covers that. It wouldn't be as clean as it looks. Basically, it's very hard to do anything with the rook here. You could easily just come back. If I come there, you can do that, and it is covered. But at some point, he's going to put pressure on here. You can't take the pawn. This is when you wish the rook would be actually engaged a little differently. I think backing off is a fine move. Like, I'm maybe trying to be aggressive at my own risk. If you do this, he can't take. So I could take, he could take, I could take. It wouldn't be bad. I don't see what could go wrong with that. He just doesn't have any active pieces to do anything. You can't take the queen. He might move the king, but then it's already too late because we're about to take it. This is going to be my highest accuracy game ever. When you don't overthink it too much, you actually play better somehow. Don't let the nerves get to you on the subject of choking. Yeah, that's the whole principle of an idea like that. anybody can choke. It's not like, you know, it's a psychological thing, which is, of course, my real expertise, not chess. I would take, he would take. I mean, kind of back to square one. Like, I don't mind doing it. You could switch to the other file, I guess. It still didn't really solve the problem. Or you could do like this now. See, you're going so balls to the wall that you're going to leave yourself exposed for something later on, though. You could give a check now, but I still don't see what it changes. Or maybe it does change something. You come here. No. Oh, maybe. Well, not from the position I would be in at the time. You could check and take the pawn and check again, because he... No, he could go there too, but then I could give a check from here. So wait a second. If I give a check now, you're forced to go either to a rook check or a queen check, but the queen check is only possible if the bishop's not there. Yeah, I don't even care about my clock at all. Like, I'll be fine. But yeah, that's my biggest tendency too. I'll always choke in rapid games. It'll be the same situation of you're up, you're winning. Now, what this also opens up, which is kind of weird, is the simple fact that you could do this and really try to hammer the pawns, but now I start to really hurt myself by doing too much. You keep going, I check. If you don't, if you can't even take, I could take, check, but you can't mate because the queen will have your back still over there. Let's see a couple more of these, or he's starting to move fast. I'll wait till the next game then. I like to alternate between rapid and stuff too. So if he comes there, he can't take at all. If he takes, I take, he can't take. So technically, oh, but he's stopping it from that, which is fine. We could try to attack it another way. Now the queen's the anchor, so we can roam with the rook, let's say. Let's try to bring the rook. I could move the king and do it, but somehow I'm fine with yeah, it's like kind of an either or. Like, you're gonna take... I can't give a check from here at all. Bring the rook to the open file. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's still covered. The pawn is still covered. This is single attack. How long is he gonna wait to bring the rook out, for God's sake? If you move this, I can take. And I don't know what else is happening with this position. You come here, you take. This is the real meaning of playing 30-minute games, so you can derp around because you're a streamer. Alex Botes standard set. But yet she manages to do it while playing Bullet, so I guess I'll give her credit for that. Like, imagine trying to be entertaining and give commentary while playing speed chess. Of course, Hikaru does it too. In fact, that's the main form of content that people do, is faster chess, because it's all flashy and showy and, you know, doesn't show a proper respect for the game or high-level play, of course, but who cares about that when you're streaming on Twitch? Get the little Curse of 69 revived again from chess.com. He comes back, but even that doesn't matter because you still can't do it, but it all hangs on the rook. But then again, there's nothing you can push the rook out with, so what does it matter? Coming like that would be a dream because you would pin it down and guarantee the take, guarantee the trade. You could come like this, but like, I'm fine with this. What's he gonna do? I don't see a single possible move that's gonna bother me. If he brings the rook out, I could just take it, or yeah, that'd be fine too. You take, I take, you take, I take. The pawns can't do anything. The rook is going to be too slow to react. If you come there, I'm kind of forced to take, but might actually take a little longer than I thought, though. We'll have to go through the pawns and everything. Like, probably my ratio of being up in a game is like 95%, but I win about 50% or 60%. So what does that tell you? I am the biggest authority on choking of all. It doesn't mean that you're always winning just because you're up material, sure, but usually I must be. So if he moves the rook, in fact, I could take there, but that's not really what I want. See, I'm going to give up a free piece and potentially some sort of mating sequence just to trap the queen, pin the queen, and just, you know. I feel very secure under that circumstance. Whereas here I might screw something up. I'll move the rook stupidly. Let's see. Normalized choking. To choke is only human. Which other ones do we have? Oh yeah, Ding was talking about like some dark ocean position in some like game 6 or something. And then he says, I didn't... Well, this is what he would say. I didn't want to think and freeze... Or no, it must have been after game 7. I didn't want to think about it and freeze up for 20 minutes sitting there trying to come up with an answer. I didn't want to freeze up and think about it for 20 minutes like he did in obviously game 7. But he's not letting me do that. Takes there. Now we have the rook here. So we have a rook here, we have a rook here. Now this check becomes much more meaningful because you can't escape it. I'm pretty happy with that. And yet somehow it's still not going to be mate, and that's what kind of pisses me off. You'll come like that, but I'm happy to just trade anything. He's not posing a very meaningful threat. I think the check is pretty much guaranteed to be good. You could block with this, though. That's problematic. And bishop has been pretty good value for him most of the game. You could do this or you're double attacking, but he could still... Or first of all, he could take... Come on, come on. If you talk about choking, you can't choke, of course. The self-awareness postulate of psychology. Right? Like, anybody can have any flaw in life, but if you're constantly acutely aware and critical of it, you won't let it happen, because... What if this is here, like, ahead of time? First of all, you're threatening that. Leaving the back rank is a little bit scary, but... It's not like his rook is there. I don't see what he's really attacking. Let's give this a shot. We're still covering the anchor pawn. We could take, but more importantly, we could check, and then the king is already mated, right? Or stupid bishop is a problem. But you can't really save that too easily. You bring the rook, but then what happens as a result of bringing the rook? We check. This doesn't line up exactly the way I thought it would. We're up +3. There shouldn't be a problem. Of course, you never know how much these people are going to give you either based on the provisional aspect. And then, yeah, sometimes people discredit, like, oh, you beat a 2000, but he's only provisional. Okay, you can still... No, you can't do it. I mean, I'm happy with the trade. It really doesn't bother me. Or I could give the check first, and I could pin it down. And... you'd probably just take it when you have the chance. That doesn't change anything for me. He can do something maybe cheeky on the back rank. I wish I could just compel the queen trade, but I can't. It's being way too passive, I guess. Don't forget about this potential mate. This is kind of a bad check because he's going to just obviously... He's going to just get a free attack. Not that it does a whole lot, but... I don't really have a good response for it. Doing this kind of scares me because something's going to happen where he's able to... Okay, let's just hurry up. Just don't give up the anchor pawn here on the back. Don't give up a check on the back rank, even though it probably should be fine. Basic concept that the more you're up, the more you should trade, just because the advantage means more. Less stuff you have. That you can already just take. Some kind of trick or trap? I don't see it if there is. This also sets up for a good check. I guess you could take with this, but I kind of like this more. Could be some kind of trap, though. He clearly just wouldn't be making mistakes. There is no check path for him, though. You have a check. It's not going to be mate very easily, I don't think. Gotta watch out for the light square bishop. That's the only threat there is. I don't know why I struggle in endgame so much, because it is so simplified. Like, there's only a few things on the board, so how can you miss it? I guess you just get too lax. Yeah, how can you be so right and so wrong about something, though? I predict he's gonna choke before the match, and damn right he does. So how could you possibly win if you choke as one of the best chess players in the world, and then Jan wants to outdo him? And I have that same criticism about them removing the flag and stuff for Russia. It's like, it shouldn't have anything to do with it. Like, even Karjakin should have been allowed to participate. He even played in the 2016 finals, so maybe he would have been the champion, right? It's not like he's just some kind of crazy underdog. He even won a game against Magnus the first game. So you can just even issue a statement like, okay, he shouldn't be allowed to say that during the event, and he shouldn't, you know, FIDE condemns what he says, but he's just moving wooden pieces on a board. That has nothing to do with anything. Or like what? If he said the opposite, it's going to change the outcome? Oh, he said the war is bad, so call it off, guys. It's over. Like, we give too much stock to these celebrities. It has nothing to do with anything. And then there's the other fallacy associated with that, like, that means that they're vouching for the views of every single other player. Like, maybe Hikaru has some crazy view too, but who cares? Because, you know, he plays chess. It's not... Now, the problem is if you do this, you're not going to be able to cover that. And that can screw up everything. You would think there's some kind of mating sequence here, but I have no idea. There's just not going to be... Oh, you get the trade. That's all I want. Now you can block with that stupid thing all you want. Go ahead, trade the queens. Now, which pawn do I want to move? I actually don't even know. We're going to mess up our own pawn structure just to be able to do this. Which is well worth it. You could go here, or you could go there, but that leaves this one kind of alone. We are going to have to play the promotion game. He goes for some desperate kind of mate. So the advantage here is not Oh, I guess I didn't even have to do it, because he let me do it. The problem is they are all on light squares, but I don't see how you could screw this up. The line from like, well, this is going to trap his bishop, first of all, if he doesn't get out of there. A history of violence, where he's got like 4 guys trying to do a hit on the guy. He's just sitting in a chair. How do you fuck that up? And whoever that is, William Hurt, I think, he got like an Oscar nomination for that very brief role. He has like a 5-minute role at the end of the movie. Like the Ned Beatty thing from Network. If he takes, I could take, so it's not a big deal. You could check and take, like, oh, but he's just going to take it. Even here, I'm still not super sure as to what to do. Just don't blunder the rook. That's all you really have to do. If he takes, I take. If he takes, I take. Oh, okay. You already blundered a pawn. You just have to eat up one of these and you'll be fine. I guess it's okay, but we could do like this, and then he can't save that one. Or I still don't have a passed pawn, though. Isn't that weird? Or the problem is it's going to be too close to the king then. I could cover it, but I guess I could, and then I could try to start moving the other ones, like try to box him out like that. We almost had the bishop trapped there, actually, but he had the chance to win the pawn back at least. I don't know why he didn't do that, because I guess he knew that I would win that one, but he's still fighting pretty hard. But it's good because this is at least instructive on how you should play this exact end game, which you might not see. See, even when people say that too, like, oh, 2 rook end game and this and that, like, sure, but the pawns aren't always going to be the exact same. You know, with 1 pawn versus with 5 pawns versus the exact position of the pawns. Like, you have 1 pawn here, 1 pawn there, or, you know, it can be so vastly different even then. But they just take it as such a foregone conclusion, like, well, of course, you just should study endgames. I don't understand, actually, how to still do this. It's annoying. Like, here you should stop worrying about the king pawns. Like, just do it, because everything is freeform. He's not going to mate me, obviously. He's going to try to attack this one, which is not a bad idea, actually. Getting a little bit low on time, but it should be fine. You should basically just give up on the thing. Give up on this pawn, because he's not leaving. If I move this, he'll take. I guess I could move the king and start to push the other side. You can let him take this one. I don't even care. But then he's going to do like a nice little chain sequence. But he can't even still do it. I guess I'll let him take this one and then see what he does. So he still won back only 1 pawn from that sequence. But oh no, he's going to do this one now. I don't know. You would have to win like every single pawn. He's double attacking it, but so what? Like, It might even be worth it to do it, but then I'll fuck up and lose. I shouldn't even worry about it. Even had the chance to do it. Like, why not just take? He checks. I can try to promote on this side. He's making it difficult at least. You can easily take this. Take. Then maybe I'll beat you in the pawn race, but I'm not even 100% sure, so I'm not going to do it. He has a passed pawn, but I think it's utterly ridiculous to think he'd be able to do that. He'd have to move this. He'd have to get past the rook, which isn't even on a light square, to be able to push it out. Okay. He'll try to block it, to which we could answer with an easy pin down, and then he can't even move it. He can try to race me, but he won't win. It was a relatively easy game, but I won't say he played that badly. He covered it, but it doesn't matter. He actually probably had better options than doing that. He should have gone from a different angle, maybe. I almost did throw at the end a little bit. Or you should just trade now, because you'll get the queen no matter what. Or like this will be the one rare case where he's still able to somehow promote. But even then, I could still promote, let's say, the other one. Maybe that's a little bit too greedy, but like you can't stop me both ways. The king's too far. I'm baiting him to do it. I'll just sack it for it. He won't give like a crazy check or anything from doing it, will he? He promotes, I take. Or it's not going to be a stalemate because there's so much room. Let's under promote to a rook and practice that too. Drag it out as much as possible. Now this these are the kind of things I'm sometimes seemingly bad at. Like, oh, how can a 1600 player not know how to do this mate? But part of it is like, you don't really care. Like, I generally know the concept, but you don't have to be exact. As long as you don't stalemate, which you can't right now. Just keep inching him in a little bit. Yeah, get him moving between like two squares. Just keep going down. And it's also like the least fun part of the game. They can go between those two no matter what, so just don't obscure that. And you come like this, which doesn't stop him from still going down. So that's that. That was at least a clean, thorough kind of game. Let's maybe do a couple more of these roast things. Winning while roasting at the same time. Imagine that. And I was trying to do like a ongoing thing where if I win with the PSAT, I get to keep the PSAT. What is it? 92% accuracy, 32. I mean, hey, I'm something of a grandmaster myself. Not the only thing I have in common with Ding. Normalize choking dark ocean position. Didn't want to sit there and think about it for 20 minutes. It's not a mistake if your opponent isn't Magnus. Ding chilling. Ding most... What is it? Ding most... Or this is just a funny line in general that I always say, like... chess is for nerds. Or, like... chess is somehow innate or whatever. It's like, study a board game for 20 years. You better damn well be good at it. Because, like, you just imagine doing that. Like, most people don't do that. Oh, here. Ding, this is the most important game of your life. How will you prepare for it? And then Ding responds, rapport random BS in like the lowercase, uppercase SpongeBob meme letters. Like, of all the things you could choose. And that's a reference to like, whatever, some other GM put like in his notes, rapport random BS, or of all the stuff he was studying. Ding fumbles the box when they're about to do the thing like, choose who gets white and black for the final thing. So if I get my choking out of the way, I'll be unstoppable. Get it out of the way now before the game even starts. Let's see what else. After the match, they ask him, what will you do now? He says, I'll go on vacation or see my favorite soccer team or something. Do what all world champions do. Become an activist like Gary Kasparov or Bobby Fischer, or become a poker player like Magnus Carlsen. The wreath, they gave him the wreath as a really nice gesture. Plants give oxygen. They're just trying to help him out. Fide, someone other than Ding or Magnus saying it. When you play online, no one can see you choke. Ding in response to his prep being leaked from Lichess and whether he plays on Lichess or not. And then I had that good line like, I played on Lichess for the first time and I thought my inflation was bad. That was like my first response. Like, as a US citizen, of course, that maybe qualifies the joke better. Prep. Oh yeah, when the prep was leaked, they left out the intense breathing exercise in order to stop another choke. I guess I couldn't play a rapid game while doing this, so one 30-minute game is enough for me. Ding Chilling says, I tried to check out... they were asking him, like, do you ever go online to read about stuff said about you? I tried to check out a meme about me choking, but I forgot my password, so I sat there for 20 minutes trying to remember and eventually gave up. I believe what we have here is a failure to breathe. That could just be generally said about a lot of the material in the championship. And then somebody was complaining about spoilers, like, oh, why did they post so many videos with the answer of who wins in them? I want to see the highlights or something first. That's what's hilarious about chess in general. It's like the highlights could be like 30 seconds. You just see the moves, and obviously you won't understand the meaning behind them, but you could look at them for an hour and you won't do that because you consult the engine anyway. He kind of makes the commentary pointless too. You could just look in the engine yourself and understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. Spoilers. So in response to that guy complaining about spoilers for every game. Ding chokes. Ding has a lead and chokes it away. Two things are certain in chess: black and white pieces and Ding choking leads. Defo. It's not a bluff if your opponent is a choke artist. When he was accused of doing like a bluff play, I think in game 8, and so it established him pretty well in game 7 that he is a choke artist. Ding's art is choking. He's about to make his masterpiece, like Crazy's art is death from Man on Fire. He got 1 million of them, dude. Oh my god. This is something a little different, but how often does this sort of thing happen? This is my special post-championship review show. And of course I'm doing it sort of ironically, but one day we'll be a commentator on there ourselves. I mean, hey, if Andrea can ask a question there about how the horse moves, not that I can blame her as much as I hate the horse. See, none of that really hurt me too much, so even if people say those things are wrong. First form of scripted content on this new channel, I guess. Some of these are just remixes, which I don't even remember where they played. Ding says, you know what they say about the French opening is basically the surrender. Now that's kind of a stolen joke. I don't know exactly where it comes from. And you can't choke if you already surrendered. Richard Report says to choke is only human. Once Ding lost like game 7 or after game 8, you said that the first 2 times. Report says to choke is only human to console Ding after a loss or a rough game. You said that the first 2 times. I can't remember exactly what games those were though that were being referred to. When Ding plays chess with high stakes, a choke is inevitable and natural. I said that before, like a month before, and it's like a play on the Batman Begins thing. Ding froze. Oh, like, yeah, they're talking about Ding froze for like 20 minutes. They don't call me Ding Chilling for nothing because he's, you know, it means like ice cream in Chinese. That's from John Cena, obviously, overused, but people are spamming that nickname for him. He should sell merch. That'll be the way he makes money. He'll make more money from selling shirts that say Ding Chilling on them with a little frozen face than he ever would from the championship itself. And Hikaru was talking about like, oh yeah, I make that in a month. He didn't say it quite like that, but you know, like you imagine working your whole life, you win the championship, you only get like $1 million. Napo said the match is exciting around like game 9 or 10 or something. It's exciting when the opponent's a choke artist and the best player doesn't play. Magnus, who he lost to obviously before. Ding appeared to be mugged and struggling to breathe one day coming back into the hotel. And he explained, no, I was just choking. Choking is no fun if you have no chance of winning. To imply, like, that's why the match is still so close despite his chokes. He's got to make it interesting first so it counts. Imagine losing to the London system as a GM. That's just like a random observation, I guess. When he played, I forgot what game he played it in. And won with it, no less. He complained to the hotel when he changed hotels. This hotel is stuffy. And the staff says, whispers to each other, oh no, he's still choking. Playing better with the black pieces than the white pieces is the key to choke artistry. Ding. And then this is about the whole thing of people saying like, oh, Magnus could have easily won. It's like, if it's so easy, then why not do it, right? Like, obviously, there's a certain amount that goes into it. Nobody's denying that he could have done it, but just... I like how this guy actually played the game out the whole way. It might seem annoying, but, you know, it's worth it. So how much did we get? 9? So we're kind of almost tied with our highest rating ever, or we might actually be. I think we're like 1 short of it. Or no, that actually is it. See, now it'll update it to now. Maybe the point is higher, the decimal of the rating. Do they do that in FIDE ratings? Like, oh, technically I'm higher than you because you're 2000 and I'm 2000.01. Ha ha ha. Higher than Alex Bottas, sub 2000 FIDE still, I think. Imagine losing to London System as a GM. Play better with black than white, which consistently he seemed to do, actually. There was some posts like Magnus respects the World Chess Championship even though he's not playing on it. Meanwhile, poker chips go brr because he's just playing poker the whole time and dicking around. Or like when the World Championship isn't challenging enough for you, you have to go and play chess with the Bottas sisters dancing and singing in the background to distract you. That's a real hard mode. I can relate to that. Ding, after you played a good game, I'd like to thank you for the CPR. Stick around though, I might need you again soon. Rapport, I guess you could say they have good rapport, or it's not him really saying it, it's just an observation. Haha, good pun. He's too emotional, you have to be like a swan, never too high, never too low. That's just a good general piece of life advice. Tim Duncan-esque, or Kawhi even. Air quality impacts chess heavily. That's always an ongoing trope, right? Like, you always got to make sure the air quality in your venue is good for a tournament event. Too bad Ding has a choking problem. Come on, Ding, now's not the time for choking. That comes later. The Bane quote goes along with all the Desmond Bane stuff that he spammed too. Ding complained about the air quality during the game. You sure you weren't just choking, they asked him. No, he said. The stakes weren't high enough after all. He's saving that for the end. What else? What else? Well, that's a good amount at least. That is like if Jerry Seinfeld was a commentator on the chess championship.